again, friends, and you are my friends, and welcome back to your full-time show. So, Town have done it. They've secured 3 points this evening. 1-0 victory over Gillingham at home at Portman Road. We wish Paul Lambert all the well. I hope he is well. Get your comments in the chat box now. If you want to come on the show, then please do so. Just ask for the link in the chat, and you can come on and share your thoughts after today's 1-0 victory. This will be a funny show, I think, because it's a 3 points. It's a win, but it's not a convincing win. It's not a yes, we fully deserve to win, I would say. I'll bring back Neil Moles as we wait for Steve Thompson to make his way back to his virtual seat in the pub. And Neil, we weren't comfortable at all, were we?
No, especially not in that second half. They came out a different team, really, didn't they?
Sorry.
What's so funny?
Dog just farted. Excuse you, sir?
Pull yourself together, man.
To me, that sums up the second half. Because we just weren't great. And now Steve's asking for the link. No, sorry. So tell me again, what were your thoughts on the second half?
Basically, they came out a different side and put us under pressure. They played quite well, and towards the end, they just tried the old lump it into the box, and luckily there was a push on McGuinness, so we got a foul for that. Relieved the pressure.
Yes, we did. He brought on. Go on.
Do you think Dobra done enough yet again?
Well, this is where I'm just about to be going, really, because we saw Dobra come on. I tweeted out on Twitter saying, don't panic. It's not a fire drill. It's now coming on. Do you feel he did enough? I don't know. I'm not sure. He had some moments. He came on and looked fairly decent at times. Got on the ball, turned, ran at them, and which is something we've not seen from a Town player for a while, is it?
No, he seems, from what he did first early bit he did, the sprinting, and as soon as he's rushed, it doesn't work. But you give him a little pass, he has a bit of time, he does a little bit of something, a bit of play, and then he'll release the ball, and then you can give it back to him in another bit of space. And it's okay in them, little scenarios, but ask him to drive today, and the ball just didn't stay with his feet, did it? He bounced behind him. And
what were your thoughts, Steve, as we bring you in? And I'll just drop the link into the chat. If you want to come on the show, just use the link. Get yourself on the show. Have your say on Dobra, Bishop, the performance, Lambert. Whatever's on your mind about Ipswich Town, we want to hear about it this evening. Steve, Dobra. We finally saw him, but what were your thoughts coming away from today's game?
Finally saw Dobra. I was a little disappointed, to be honest. He was a bit too eager, I think, and he lost the ball in a couple of good places. Overall, an underwhelming second half. It really was, especially seeing as how they went off on the first half. We thought, this is great. Second half, we continue the same. We're going to be all over them. And it was an appalling second half, really.
Sluggish in places. Yeah, really sluggish in places.
Not clinical. Bishop's goal was great. Really good strike from him. So we're lucky to get 3 points.
That was just a relief, wasn't it? Didn't play
definitely
well. It was almost like the start of last season where we didn't turn up and still managed to take the points.
Yeah, I'm a bit nervous.
And good teams find a way. When the chips are down, good teams find a way. But as Thomas Seggins here says, a win's a win, but by no means comfortable or confident. We'll struggle for top 6. Not sure on that one. Because a win's a win. Curtis Yates told John here after Lincoln, could be a scrappy 1-0 of the way. Happy to go for it. I've got it right. Ryan Cartwright. Hawkins on a skews-like scoring run. I'm not sure whether I'm going to start on my Hawkins debate this evening or not. Jack Messenger should have lost. JT, 1 minute of quality, got us 3 points. That second half was otherwise poor and very concerning. Sum up your second half. Are you implying that we were shite? Lol. Callie, Cruncher said it's Saturday. We'll get 6 points today and Saturday and get beaten next week. Do we really see this team beating Sunderland away? I wouldn't count out Crewe Alexandra. They are a dark horse for this division this year, for a playoff spot, that is. And Darren McAnthony at Peterborough United, the chairman there, he also thinks that as well. He's recently said that on his podcast. Sid Drover says, start the Hawkins debate. Don't tempt me. We've got Mike Brown on the show tonight. Mike, welcome in. Love your shirt, my friend.
I know, mate. I just thought earlier on, I was like, I was late back, so I only got about sort of the first halfway through the first half. And I was like, I need a shirt to wear tonight. What do I want? So I found this one. This is all like got Marcus Bent on it, Titus Bramble. It's all signed. It's a signed shirt. So I thought I'd wear this tonight, and I can't believe we got a win.
You've now got to wear it every game until we lose. Because those same here. Same here. I ain't gonna lie. It's a great shirt. It's a great shirt. Great shout. It's normally me not in the kit, but tonight it's nil. So Mike, 1-0. Obviously, you don't like Paul Lambert. I won't say what you call him. Look, it weren't pretty. Well, I keep saying that word. Okay, let's cut it. It was slow, quick, slow, with no end product. Huff and puff. We worked hard. Gills were there for the taking all night. First half, we were kind of dominating, but Hawkins.
The commentators tried to say we were forcing it too much, but I'm not really sure if I would say that. If we were forcing it, we were not really sure what we were forcing.
Just still lack a bit of tempo. There's no real tempo to our play. There's no integral part. There is passing, but it's like, well, yeah, you have the ball, I'll have the ball. You have the ball, I'll have the ball. Look, we can have a good moan about how certain players play tonight. I didn't think Zell played particularly well. People say, the back two of Wolfie and what's the name? McGuinness, thank you. They look solid. I'm like, well, they've really been tested. And to be fair, I thought Gills were unlucky not to come away with all 3 points in that second half. I thought second half they were the better side. We, again, got lucky with a worldy strike. I just don't feel there's enough about us in this team to, under this current management, to really push on and get out of this league. We look like an average League One side. We got a win, though. That's the most important thing, 3 points. I mean, in the days, if we win, if we get promoted playing like that and getting wins every week, then really, how can we moan? But there's just the formation. I don't like the formation. 4-3-3 don't look comfortable. We look disjointed. It seemed like we're playing square pegs in round holes,
Yeah, I know you're like me. You like a 3-5-2. You prefer a 3-5-2. Yeah. You're like me in that respect. Let's focus on a positive 100%. For the time being. Eric Clacton. Adrenaline rush Dobra needs to come on early. Obviously, that's a positive seeing Dobra on the field. Were you happy with Dobra's performance in that second half?
Sorry guys, I didn't mean to interrupt. For me personally, I just felt that he's obviously read the hype a little bit about. Obviously, he must have done because he came on and he overtried. He just overtried and everything. He was trying to be this player that we all know he is, but trying to take on 4 or 5 defenders weren't going to ever happen. It was just, I think. Look, I want him playing. I just feel that maybe he just overtried a bit tonight to try and sort of prove a point, I guess, to Paul Lambert, maybe the management. But I mean, look, it's a 1-0 win. Was it great? No, it's a 1-0 win. Still don't like Paul Lambert. I still want him gone, but I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm sorry, guys. Look, we got a win tonight. I thought Bishop had a good game.
Yeah.
Tremendous. Really good.
Yeah, really good game.
I agree with you on the Dobra thing. I think there's sort of two ways of looking at it. It'd be great to get him on earlier, but it's almost like he's making up for lost time and he pushes too hard. And there was a couple of bits where he pushed forward and I thought he's got a great chance here. And if he just knocks it to one of his teammates, it could be the start of something great. And he just held it a little too long and he ended up losing it in a really silly manner. And that one chance he lost it. He did well to get back and actually clear the ball. But there was a little bit of naivety from him today. His young self was showing through a bit there.
That was the one thing that I actually thought that other players haven't been doing in our midfield. And sorry, someone's just messaged me something quite funny. I felt that he did something that the rest of the midfield hadn't done in the last two games. When we lost the ball, he actually got back and chased it all the way back to the edge of our area. Whereas beforehand, there was one or two of our players, even Dazelle, was like, I'm just going to jog back, and I just feel that, he's the type of player that we are missing in the side. League One is a tough old league. It's a scrappy old league. But we still looked like an average League One side again tonight. We just need more tempo. We need more pace about our game. We if we're going to hit them on the break, let's not jog it. Let's go full pelt.
It's intent, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's intent play. That's what Dobra brings, isn't it? That sort of intent where he gets on the ball. Yeah, I think at times he can push it too far, or he can, as Mike said, maybe have read his own back page headlines already and be wanting to do too much too often. But it's that ability to want to do that, and it's an intent. Every time he has the ball inside their own 20 yards left of the field, he wants to make something happen. He wants to get on the ball and turn and run and jinx and create. And it's about intent. It's about pressure. It's about, and sometimes, Mike, I think as you said earlier in the conversation here, we sometimes just have needless possession. We're happy just to have the ball.
Far too much passing around the back sometimes when, rather than put, it's pass one side, pass the other, long ball, pass the other side, long ball. There's no pass one side, put it into the midfield. We're playing Dazelle in this defensive holding role, and I don't understand why. I've never seen Dazelle as a holding midfielder. Am I wrong here? Or?
It's where he's played sort of through the A's categories, that more of a deep-lying playmaker role, and it is a new. I wouldn't say new role as such, but it's a new.
Do you think it suits him a little bit because he has a bit of time on the ball there? That he's not under too much pressure in that position. The strikers can close down the defenders, and then he can just go in that little bit of space there.
It's very hard to sort of say he's very much like, because anytime you do that with a player, you open yourself up to criticism. But he likes to come short, as you just said there, Neil, and collect the ball from your two centre-halves and play in the same way earlier in the piece we were saying about Bishop playing in between the lines. Dozell likes to play in between the lines as well. But really,
I think Bishop should be played more where Lancaster was, where he can do his probing runs further up the pitch. As you said, unfortunately, the Houlihan type thing, but...
Yeah, where you're asking questions of a centre-half, similar to what Doncaster did with their first goal, where does the centre-half come with him? Does he not? Does he allow him the space to turn? You're asking questions of players, which is what you want to do. You want to cause conflict on the pitch and make it happen. Not conflict as in John Nolan type conflict towards the end of the game Saturday, but conflict is in the mind and do I go, do I not? Andre needs to be paired, for me, and maybe you three can tell me if I'm right or not, with a Flynn Downs. If Andre and Downs played together, where Downs can do the dirty firefighter stuff, go on the pitch just doing the nitty gritty, it allows Andre that freedom, doesn't it? But at the moment, you've got three players that don't like to do gritty work.
Yeah, that's what's hurting us. We need at least one midfielder in there who can do the dirty stuff and get stuck in there like Downs. We are missing Downs right now, definitely.
Yeah.
Sorry. The two centre-backs, you were talking about, like I say, Dazelle getting in the hole, picking up the ball off the two centre-backs. That's if centre-backs are going to pass it to him. Do you know what I mean? There's a lot of passing again tonight, and Tony, and against... there was a lot of... At Lincoln, there was a lot of passing at the back, but playing long balls. I think Cruncher mentioned it, we were predictable. And I think sometimes, even tonight, we were still a little bit predictable. I think Mick Mills commented on it. We were a little bit predictable again, with our play. And I was watching, it's great that you could pick a player out sometimes and just watch him. And Dazelle dropped into that space, into that hole between the strikers in the midfield to pick it up from the centre-backs, and they never passed it to him. So how could... I agree. I totally agree. I think, Dazelle picking the ball up there and playing it and turning and playing it into a more forward advanced role for somebody else to pick up, like Bishop or Lancaster or, and just, or Downs, but the trouble is if a centre-backs ain't going to do that, then he's kind of, for me, he's kind of wasted. because he is a skillful player. Has he been petulant the last couple of seasons when he was in like coming on and out? I guess maybe a little bit, and yeah, I think he was. But I think he's grown into this team this year. But the problem is, I still don't like the formation. I'm with you, Martin. I don't like that. I think 3-5-2 would suit us a lot better. I think we would have 3 centre backs. Chambers is getting forward like Maldini of old. Edward tonight again, running his socks off, lots of pace, lots of energy. I just feel that maybe 1 or 2 others in that team could do with a bit of a kick up the backside. Say, look, we need some more impotence, a bit more, oomph, and let's go and attack this team,
Love it. And before I let you go, Mike, and I appreciate you coming on again, and hope to see you Saturday. Guys, if you want to come on the same way Mike has, just ask for the link or use the link in the chat and get yourself on the show. It's very easy. Mike, describe the game in 3 words for those that maybe are just joining us that didn't watch 90 minutes.
Huff, puff, win.
Huff, puff, win. Love it. Mike, we'll see you Saturday. Look after yourself.
Saturday.
Absolutely. You got to. It's the rule. Yeah. Look after yourself. Cheers, Mike.
Bye.
Do you feel Lancaster should have been put out wide? Because, as they said, he was a little bit lost in that central area.
Yes. So something I was going to ask you here, and I've got Sid Driver saying Lancaster disappointing, thought he looked hungry.
I wouldn't say disappointing. I just feel he struggled to get into the game. When the ball did come near him, it was in the air. And is he really going to beat someone to it in the air? No. Did the team really help him out? No. So, and as the commentator said, he looked a little bit lost in that area. He's more of a wide man. So, I can't disagree with that. Would he have been better out on that right-hand side where, again, he can cut inside and Edwards be on the other side then?
I thought tonight we lacked a little bit of a little bit of flexibility in the system, and I don't know if that was because Lambert wasn't there or if it's just something that they've been told tonight. But if you look back over previous weeks, we've had Edwards going from right to left, left to right, inside. They've moved. The 3 of them have moved. Tonight it seemed to be set. Lancaster's playing centrally. You're not going to come out of that position. So if Edwards feels like, do you know what, I might have to beat into this centre half. I'm just going to come inside for 10-15 minutes and just see if I can make something happen. It didn't happen, did it? Because you didn't see Lancaster move from the area of the number 10 role, did we?
No.
Do you think we need to, in general, allow more of a fluid movement of our front players? Because, as the last guy said, there was so much going up the wings, but then they would go back again, as we've done on previous weeks, and it'd be put round our defenders nicely. But when you want that little ball inside to the midfielders, why isn't that happening? Is the movement not there? And there's
it's
just
tactical.
Not the little... Yeah. Are the passes not on? Are they not willing to risk the pass? Because you see Dazelle doing some of these nice passes, but why aren't others?
Well, it's in their locker. I mean, that's sometimes you have to be reasonable. And as Mick Mills said in the commentary himself, you reach, I don't know, I can't remember what he called it, but basically you reach the end of your ability level. Like Nicky Butt was never a Paul Scholes, was he? You wouldn't say, why is Nicky Butt not spreading the ball 30, 40 yards across the pitch? Because it wasn't a Nicky Butt type of play. The same thing can be said sometimes in that midfield. Why is certain players not making passes Andre's making? Because they're not Andre. They don't see things the way Andre does. Jack does see things that way, and at times you saw a couple of good passes, Steve, and you saw him try and make things happen. Is it, and I think it is, tactically tonight, they were just set out in their 4-2-3-1, and there was no sort of go and be brave, go and get on the ball, go and make things happen, and we suffered a little bit, whereas previous weeks we have had that?
Do you think because
so.
We had Bishop kept roaming into positions where Lancaster was, and Lancaster was crying out for the ball, but Bishop obviously felt he was good enough to do something, so he carried on. Do you think it would have been better to then push Lancaster on more near Hawkins, so he almost went into more of a 4-4-2?
I think you've got to play close to Hawkins without just in general. And Hawkins is a player that I'm not going to go there tonight after a 1-0 win. You have to play closer to Hawkins, I think. But he's not offering a threat at the moment, which I think is fair to say.
No, he didn't really offer much going forward, did he? You never thought that he was going to score.
He did at least manage to hold up the ball a couple of times in the second half.
I will say, do you remember when they tried to convince us that Banya would be a number 3 in the Championship? And then that experiment lasted, I think, until October when we played Charlton, and he was never really seen again in the town shirt. They're trying to convince us that Ollie Hawkins is a number 3 League One striker. And I'm just not seeing it. People can try and tell me that he's eating yards or he's taking up space, and I'll bring Steve in. Steve, welcome in. Thanks for joining us. And he's doing the things that don't necessarily show up on the stat sheet. But is Holly Hawkins showing himself to be a credible number 3 League One striker for you, Steve?
No, he's on the pitch. I'll give him that.
So was Banya.
Yeah, but where's Norwood? But don't get me started on him, because we've had this conversation before, haven't we?
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we didn't do what we should have done and potentially brought people in. However, if you look on our books, we have got Jackson, we have got Norwood, we have got this, that and the other. But obviously they're not on the pitch, are they, Martin? And
no.
What else can we do? I mean, they brought Hawkins in. He's never going to set the world alight.
Shot on target, too much to go for?
Yeah. I think he's one that they've said is going to be a plan B. And plan B is going to be buff it up and let him knock it down. But like we said before, like what I said before, and I think what Mike said in regards to the formation, it's not going to work for him. He's got to have someone run off in behind him like a Sears, or someone who's got a bit of pace that will get the ball when it gets knocked down. But we're not playing that system, are we? That's not what we're set up to do. So if we're not set up to do that, Hawkins is going to do whatever he does, but the people ain't going to be around him like we've seen tonight.
I think you missed a little bit at the end of the B there. I think we meant plan D, I think.
Yeah.
Because you've got Jackson, Norwood. I think even Aaron Drinan has sort of moved himself over the first part of the game, season sort of ahead of him when he comes back. Because, for me, he's looked more of a prospect. It is always about people around him. And obviously the Portsmouth guy, Freddie, did tell us that earlier in the season. What were your thoughts after tonight's performance then, moving on to the wider team?
I just think that we've got to be realistic that we are in League One. And as much as everybody says, we need to go up and we need to do this, we are where we are because of, one, the way we've played, and two, the results that have happened. Now we are here. We've just got to buck our ideas up and get going, and the youngsters will learn a bit of grit and a bit of how to get out of this league, because it is a bloody hard league to get out of.
Sunderland.
Do you know what I mean? So it's not a given that we're going to turn up all shiny Ipswich Town and just walk through people. We're not going to do it. It's not going to happen. We just need to be realistic about it. Saying that, we don't want a performance like potentially we had tonight. I mean, I listened to some of it, but I was just like, well, this, I was just like, yeah, this is not going fantastically great. But yeah, obviously then saw Bish turned up with a spanking goal. I must admit, pundits to him, hopefully he'll stay fit. He's been doing really well, and I'm chuffed for the lad because he hasn't played a lot of football and he's showing dividends now. Yes,
yeah, great goal. Obviously got that knock that we hope is nothing too serious. But we've seen unserious knocks from Teddy sometimes take months. You've got to hope he stays fit because he's playing some really good stuff at times.
Yeah, I was worried also when he kicked the ball away and got a yellow. I was hoping, please don't have got 5 already. But luckily it's only on 2. But going back to what you said, yeah, he went down. They said he didn't go straight down the tunnel, so I don't believe it. At this stage, it's too serious.
Yeah, well, you've actually got to, hope, really, that it's nothing too serious. JT, Steve B keeping it real. Steve B always keeps it real.
Always.
Always. We love when Steve B comes on. MW, first half painful. Easier reflecting. Having won 3 points, lots of young players all learning to unlock teams. I like this winning style more than last year. We are building and delivering results. New Gardner, Hawkins is doing a good job in this system. It's the other players that need to get up and support him or go past him. Respect the opinion.
I feel is just too weak. He done better in the second half. He actually brought the ball down. He held it up a bit better. He used his body. He's a big chap. He actually used his body better. But on the whole, that is the bare minimum. That is the least we should be asking from you. He seemed a bit flat-footed in the box for Wolfenden to have that effort. He just seemed to watch the game go past him. While I say Wolfenden ended up skying it. He should be the one on his toes in that scenario.
Yeah, I do, agree that he used his body well, and he at times he holds it up nice, and he's probably a really lovely guy. And I really hope and pray that some of the comment about Ballant Banya, for example, when he puts it 1-0 up in the playoff final and we're promoted, that I can forever be eating crow on that comment. And I want to be wrong. I don't ever want to sit here and say anybody wearing this shirt, not this shirt, it's my shirt, but anyone wearing a blue shirt, town shirt, isn't perhaps good enough, or isn't this, or isn't that. I want them to do well. I want them to bring back more success. Crew at the weekend, Steve. Yeah, they're a decent side. Darren McAnthony rates them highly. I rate them highly. If I just have a quick peek at the League One table, they are currently sitting in 15th. They've only lost one of their last 5. It's going to be another tough game. Do you fancy us after tonight, or what do you want to see off the back of tonight? What do you want to see?
I'd like to see Bennett have some more minutes. I think if he's got some more minutes, not necessarily in Crewe, but I'd like to see him have some more minutes. I think he could do a job up top, because he's played up top before as well. He played up top in Germany, and I think he's got quite a bit of skill and bits and pieces like that. I think the middle two have done all right tonight. I just think he'll stay with that. He'll stay with the system that he plays, and I just think that it always worries me, Martin. If we go 1-0 down, where's it going to come from? And I've said this all season. The start of the season, we go down a goal, we go down 2 goals. We ain't got any comeback. We're nipping them right at the end, which is fine because we're getting the points. But if we go down 1-0, I just can't see it, lads. I don't know about you, but I just can't see us bring the goals back. I really can't.
Yeah, I agree.
In some ways, I wouldn't even say it's solely on the players not being good enough at times. It's almost, is the game plan good enough? It's all good and well playing it 1-2s between your centre backs and going out wide a little bit, but if there's no movement in front of them, and then just going, we'll just do the long diagonal, in which, okay, yeah, fine, it works now and again, but that seems our only release most of the time. We need something more than that.
Don't you think, Neil, that they'll figure us out come latter part of the season? They'll see, they tipped that bit behind, obviously, the back 4. You're going to get them just try and rob us off of them, and then it will be done. That they'll go, well, that's how Ipswich play. That's how we're going to set up.
Yep.
Yeah. And Neil, we sat during the podcast last season, winning games not convincingly, and we were saying if we went a goal behind, we would struggle. So it's not a new thing, is it?
No.
It's
but that's new. What we've been asking changes. Yeah. When are these changes going to happen? Because you don't always have to have that nice little tap around the back. Do an on the break. Where is our players bombing forward and doing that nice clinical pass on the break? Where's that?
Well, not tonight. That's the answer there. Steve, we appreciate you. I'm going to bring in Ben. So
cheers,
thanks
guys.
so much, my man. See you Saturday.
See ya.
Ben, welcome in. I've got a question from Cruncher, which had your name all over it. Who was your pick of the man of the match tonight, Ben?
I've got to say, it's got. That's a really good question.
It is a tricky one. It's a tricky one tonight.
JT says Chamber had a solid game.
Yeah, do you know what? Do you know what? I can't believe I'm saying it, but I would say Chamber. I think he's actually been very quietly consistent. Usually when Chambers screws up, it's apocalyptic. But I've got to say, so far, I have no complaints about what Chambers is doing. I think he looks solid. I think he's playing in the right position. I think he's actually been consistent playing both good teams and bad teams. I think what I'd say tonight really was just that Gillingham they were awful. I mean, if they're not down there or relegated, I'll be shocked. But is it a question of they're so bad that we just expect we're going to kind of turn up and steamroller them? And I'm starting to question Sears' place in the team. Sears is like he's probably the longest serving member of the squad now, apart from Chambers. He always seems to just be there, and I'm not really sure. And I love the guy, but I'm just not quite sure how useful he is for us anymore. Sears for me is like, imagine you're a family and you come into a bit of money and you go and buy a couple of nice cars. You buy a lovely Range Rover that does 5 miles to the gallon, and you buy a lovely sports car that's got a breakdown, but when it goes, it's fantastic. Sears is that Fiesta you keep on your drive just to keep it going. That useful thing that you just go back to, that's not going to set the world alight. It's just going to do a job and you're not going to remember it. Everyone says he's devoid of confidence. Well, that's every single season now. He's played under loads of managers, loads of systems, in loads of positions, supporting probably 10 different strikers now. And if we keep coming back to the same thing, he's devoid of confidence, he's not being played in the right position. Well, how many separate rotations does he have to go through to think that he's actually not quite up to the standard of being in the first team?
Yeah,
it's an open question. I'd love to know what you guys think.
Louis Sharp thinks if Jackson and Norman were fit and playing, he wouldn't be in the squad. I think if I asked the three of you, and I think Sears and both Chamber are probably really lovely guys, really good to have around the training ground, really nice fellows. But if I said to you, name me in best to worst order the playoff team, I think that the ones that are left were probably the ones that you'd put towards the bottom of that list, which says its own story as to why we're now a League One side. But Sears was always, for me, the third or fourth striker. Now we're kind of looking at him and thinking, we need something from you.
Yeah.
With a lack of strikers at the start of the season, Sears did come in and he seemed a little bit a level above what he was last season. But of at least the last couple of games, he's gone straight back into. He almost looked like he didn't care today. Whether that's me being a bit harsh on him, maybe, but he just didn't seem that he was that up for it.
Sid Driver, when you look at the big picture, Sears had a good 6 months when he came in that season, but that's it. Agree with that, Steve?
Do you know what? That's a really great point, actually. And he's absolutely right. He did have a great 6 months. And I think it almost kind of reflects, in my mind, a lot of the loan players that come in, that they come in on loan and they're just absolutely fantastic. And as soon as they sign the contract, they just drop a level. And I'm not sure if that's something endemic of the club or the way that players progress to the first team. I'm not really sure, but I would agree with that. And look, we all want Sears to do well. He will reliably not have a completely shit game, but that's about the best I can say about him. And every now and again he'll score a goal and he'll reset the clock a bit more. But that's about all. And I wish I could say more because I like the guy. And he's got a good fit on him. I think he's got vision. But he's played in so many different rotations and teams and managers and positions.
He's our new J-Tab.
Oh, J-Tab, Jesus. Well, maybe Sears should go and be a professional horse racer now. Then maybe that's the answer. I don't know. I think it's just.
Well, everything you just said there, Ben, was J-Tab. Consistent, would occasionally pop up with a goal. Wouldn't look out of place playing in a number of positions. Stop me if I'm wrong on this one, but is it not We're not looking at that.
Yeah,
Do you remember?
I think he's probably on par with that. It just so happens that maybe Sears is left and J-Tab was too old. I mean, I don't
Love
really
Tabby.
know. But you're
Love
right.
Tabby.
I think you're right about the point about in that playoff side, Sears would be the bottom. And I think the final point I want to make is we keep hearing all through the forums in the week, Plan B, Plan B, Plan B. We have no Plan B. Once we have got a Plan B, they're all injured. And
Yes.
that's the problem. We have a great Plan B. Jesus Christ, if you go through our injuries, that's a hell of a team, man. You would have probably 2/3 of League One clubs be biting off our arms to have them people. And I'd say, Kane, Vincent Young, geez, if I can remember far back what he even looks like. We have a fantastic
Great
Plan
player.
B. They just can't stay fit.
Yeah,
and
and there's the problem.
I caught the arse end of a comment. Who was possibly injured tonight?
Bishop.
Oh, he wasn't my bingo ball. Okay, well, I got that wrong.
Benjamin's bingo balls.
Bishop, so that's 3 months out at least. So okay, so he won't be coming back in. Oh God!
But Jackson,
with the Sears though, when we first got him, he was being, say, on the shoulder of the defenders. He was getting into their blind spots, and then he would just do them brilliant curved runs. Not always timed because he was offside quite a lot, but he would do them runs, and he would be in on goal all the time. And he was almost given a bit of freedom. He doesn't do any of that now. He's put out wide. It almost seems ever since Mick asked him, you have to be there doing the last ditch tackle back with your, left back. He no longer seems the same man.
Yeah.
I would say it's happened more than that and more often. I mean, that's probably what he's playing now and what you just described is probably two permutations of the 7 or 8 systems that he's played in. And I don't think he's delivered in any one of them apart from that first half a year. But having said that, look at the position we're in. I still think they're just kind of. I got a lot of shit on the forums when I said it last week that there was an assumption that we would be just easily beating Gillingham and Crewe. That's a hell of an assumption to make with where we are, and I don't want any arrogance to creep in of where we are as a team and a club. I love my club more than anything. I've followed my entire life. And I want them to do well, but you also have to be realistic that we're not going to, we all just expected, and so did I, to roller coaster Gillingham tonight. It didn't happen. We're all going to be expecting to roller coaster Crewe. Oh, we'll get that win, and Sunderland's going to be a hard game. Of course, Sunderland, are we good enough? Can we beat a top table? It doesn't matter. We've got to beat Crewe first. We are not a championship side having a weekend away in League One. We're a 10th position League One team. And I think you have to kind of temper your expectations to exactly where we are, as depressing as that is.
Well, I completely agree with you. And 2 things before I let you go, Ben. First of all, don't worry about forums. I mean, if you want shit from forums, Matt Phillips is the king. Matt Phillips is the king. He can give you some pointers on that one. But before the last point is, I've had many people ask me on social media, or in the chat rather, how's the hangover from Saturday, and is that a soft drink in the glass?
It wasn't great. I'm not going to lie. The evening was better than the morning. No, this is Russian standard vodka and Coke, and I started drinking that at about 60 minutes. But I kind of stopped as we scored the goal, so I could actually have a conversation with you. I like to think I'm a critical thinker with what I watch from Town, and I think we all are in our own way. And I'm very aware that I'm turning into a critical drinker, and I've got to stop doing that. We've got to start winning. Jesus.
No,
so
you keep going.
I'm looking forward to Saturday. I hope we win. I couldn't tell you what team is going to be put out. I just know that we probably won't see Bishop again until we have a large-scale vaccine for COVID, so in about 8 months. So, yeah.
If for those that don't know, Ben does an injury bingo on Facebook every home game on the Pregame show. We love it, Ben. We love your commentary. Join us again Saturday. We appreciate you, buddy. Enjoy that Russian standard vodka. Oh, sorry. I've cut him off now. Gone. I've been drinking, obviously. No. So as you round up tonight's show, let's look ahead to Crewe very quickly. Apologies again, Ben, there for the trigger finger. Do we think we'll be the same 11? Do we want and score predictions? Steve, we'll start with you, and Neil will finish off with you.
I would like the same 11. I think it was decent. Although I'll probably have Bennett's in for Sears. I think Bennett's can offer more than Sears going forwards. I will go 2-1 to Ipswich. I think Crewe are going to be good.
Yes.
Probably better than a lot of us would give them credit for, I reckon. So a tough test, 2-1 to Town with Guillaume, my boy, and a cracker from Chambo.
Yeah. Crewe were beaten 1-0 tonight by Lincoln. Before that, they'd beaten Wigan 3-0. Blackpool with 1-1. Sunderland, they'd got beaten 1-0. They've been beaten 1-0, and they beat Doncaster 2-1 on the 24th of October. So mixed results.
Yeah,
obviously,
Doncaster
did blow our bloody back doors off, let's be honest. Talk to me, Neil. What do you expect?
I'd take another 1-0 win. But
yeah,
I can't see us playing any differently from what I just witnessed. That just seems, whatever you call that game plan, that seems how we're going to go out, and that's what we're going to deliver. So if we can just have another bit of magic from someone to put the ball in the net, I'll take it.
Lovely. Same 11?
I would like to see Lancaster out wide. I'd also like to see Edwards actually on the left side. Do you think Hughes tightened it up a little bit?
No. I'll be honest. For time, no. Lofty says 1-0, probably an own goal. He loves an own goal, this bloke. I don't think you've been right yet this season, have you, Loft? Eric Clanton says 1-1. Ryan Cartwright says, haven't Crewe got their best right back in the league? Oh, yes, that's right, Ryan, they have.
Chamber plays for us.
No, very good point. When we signed KVY, he said, I'm surprised Town have gone for him when the rest right back in the league is, and it was his. The new Gardner, the better teams won't sit deep on us, and I think that's better for us. Sid will take a 1-0 win every game. 3 points is 3 points, regardless if it's 1-0 or 11-0. Back to your point, Neil. No, I don't think he did, but he does offer that ball retention, which we don't struggle with, to be honest.
Someone mentioned about potentially playing Bennett as a striker. Do you think that would work?
I think if you played him in the number 10 role. Interestingly, back to Sears, you've been there with me. We've seen Sears play some of his best stuff in that number 10 role. I mean, granted, it was a lad's day, and we were on the sherbet, the vodkas and that Ben was drinking. But
yeah, but I also, with the rose-tinted glasses, I also believe that the other players around them seem to just have a bit more, like they had more end product. They weren't rushed, and they didn't just lose the ball in their feet and give it away and all that sort of silliness that we're seeing.
Yes.
So there wasn't so much on the shoulders of Freddie Sears.
Yeah, that's true. No, that's true. Maybe he's not that. Yeah, maybe he's not that sort of player anymore. I don't know. Maybe it was a number of years ago. Obviously, I mean, I've been like this.
That's why I'm obviously got my rose tinted glasses on it. But
yeah, the new Gardner says we'll win 8-0. So so same 11. I don't think I've heard that definite answer from you yet.
Well, it got a result, so go for it.
Okay, all right. As we finish off, Ben says 1-0, I agree. Tougher than today, but maybe we'll rise to the occasion. God, rise to Crewe Alexander, how far have we fallen? Michael says 1-0 Town, Lancaster right, Edwards left, Hughes in for Sears. So he agrees with you there, Neil, bringing Hughes in. Reece says a scrappy 1-0, but can see a 0-0. Mike says 1-1, and I'm going to say I need to sleep on it. Because you don't make predictions when you're tired, Steve.
It'll be closer. I think it'll be closer than some people think. But I still think we'll get a nice 3 points out of it.
Absolutely. There we go. 45 minutes. We're done. We're dusted. Nick says 4-1 to Ipswich. Nick does like a good scoreline. He does often put those in the championship score predictors. He does like a high scoring affair. We're done. We're dusted. Join us Saturday 2:30, where it's more Ipswich Town chat. I know it's not the real thing. I know it's not in stadiums or in pubs, but we're fans. We're Town fans, and we're together, and we're enjoying our team, especially when they win. But with love, with care, from Steve to Neil to me. Bye-bye, my friends, and we'll see you Saturday at 2:30.
Cheers.